Warm welcome as always. My name is Laura Goucher and I am the Director of Bands at Mahtomedi High School, and together with my awesome choir colleague we get to host this event each year, and we're just so happy to see all of you here tonight. We want to thank you for sharing your incredible children with us for last Monday and today. We've had 2 really incredible days of making music with 3 incredible clinicians and musicians that have taken our kids to levels that we all could have dreamed of, but never, actually we couldn't even have imagined how great all these groups have come. So we're really excited for you to hear how far they've come. So thank you to our 3 directors. We're gonna acknowledge each of them throughout the night. The first thing I'd like to acknowledge though is if you are a Metro East band director, would you please stand for acknowledgement? Thank you to these 9 incredible humans who are also great musicians, and I get the joy of working with throughout the year. We have a few meetings throughout the year, and it's just really great coming together for these 2 days to work with these really fine humans as well. So thank you. Thank you, students, for sharing these incredible band directors as well with us. With that, I get the great honor of introducing our first group tonight. Tonight, we're going to start with the jazz ensemble, and there's a special guest on 2 of the songs that's not in your program. We have a jazz vocalist from Mahtomedi High School, senior Felix Livingston, who you'll get to enjoy some vocals from as well this evening. This is the Metro East All-Conference Jazz Ensemble under the direction of one of the greatest jazz legends that has ever lived. It's true. Anyone that's anyone in the band world knows who this man is. He's UW Eau Claire Jazz. He has built that program, and he's a professional trumpet player, and there's some really great stories if we had time to tell. But these kids have had just incredible learning from this man. So please welcome the Metro East All-Conference Jazz Ensemble and their director, Mr. Baca.
He's the man. Ooh, oh, messenger of death. Makes everyone move. Messenger of death. The truth that he has. He's so smooth.
Good evening, everybody. So if you couldn't hear what the band was saying during their vocals, everybody like Felix on the vocals? I sure did. We don't call that swing, we call that swang. And what the band was yelling was Horace Silver. So that was a song about Horace Silver called Song for Horace Silver, who was a great composer and player during the R&B, as actually one of the initiators of R&B music. Now I want you to go back to 1933 and Duke Ellington's band. There were all different types of bands at that time, and they all stood for something. The Count Basie Band, raise your hand if you've ever heard of the Count Basie Band. Yeah, we all have. The Count Basie Band did one thing: swing. That was it. So most of the things that they played were all together. Duke Ellington's band actually was very much like a symphony orchestra, in that all of the different players in the band had a special kind of sound, and he would write for that sound. Duke Ellington was studying people like Stravinsky and Ravel, where he wanted to tell a story through jazz ensemble music, and he loved trains. He wrote a lot of music about trains. So we're going to play one of those for you now. This is Daybreak Express. What I want you to hear is a big, and if they play it right, it's a big train with big wheels that slip when it's first starting out. And then the train gets going, and then it starts to go up a hill, and it has a hard time going up the hill. You'll hear that. And then it comes down the hill, and you'll hear that. And it does that twice. And then before it goes to a steady track, it switches tracks. The first time it was ever done in jazz history, when it goes from the A-flat major track to the D-flat major track. And how does he do it? Just like Ravel did at the time. They just take all the notes and go, and just go into the new key. So see if you can hear that. Then you're going to hear Charles on lead trumpet tooting the train when they're on the flat tracks, and he's going to toot, boo, 54 times in a row. He'll get it. I know he will. He'll get it. And they're high C's for anybody that knows the instrument. Then the train will be happy and finally come back to the station, and you'll hear it starting to slow down with, check this bell out that we have. We went all the way to Nepal to get a bell like that. You'll be able to hear it for the first time tonight. This is Daybreak Express with some wonderful solos by Elizabeth. Stand up, Elizabeth. You gonna hear Elizabeth play? All right. So see if you can visualize what Duke Ellington was talking about. This is Daybreak Express.
Thank you.
So jazz music is all about spontaneous creation. And so we're just going to make up a tune right now, and we're going to play it for you. There was a time, during the time of Charlie Parker and Dizzy Gillespie, when they had created this brand new mathematical language, and they were so proud of what they did and so rebellious of what they had done against the big band swing era that they actually had all of these isms. And one was the brim, if you've ever seen that before. That was a bebopper type thing. The goatees, that was a bebopper type thing. And many of them, maybe you did this when you were young, I did, they came up with their own language. I'm not talking musical. They actually talked to each other in this language, and no one could understand them but them. And that was so popular that they actually started to name tunes after this language. So the name of this next song is called Au Preval. What language do you think that is? Yell it out. Yeah, French, right? For those that know French, what does it mean? It means absolutely nothing. Charlie Parker just made it up. So he took a blues, for those that know that chord change, and he put a bebop line over it. And so what the students did is they took this very sophisticated Charlie Parker bebop line and they memorized it. And we're going to make up an entire big band tune. I'll be counting it off like this. And we're going to make it up on the spot. All of your sons and daughters will be soloing on it. And we have backgrounds, hopefully. And then we're going to come back to the tune at the end and give you a big band finish. So this is the first premiere, and maybe the last of the way we're going to do it, of the big band version of Charlie Parker's Au Preval, starting with Alex on the drums. Well, we have one more number for you, but I cannot tell you what an wonderful experience this was for me. We, your sons and daughters who are in this band, concentrated for 8 hours. And in jazz music, not everything is written out. So they had, I counted, 759 instructions that they had, not really, but it was a lot of instructions. And they had to remember all of those different things. And so it's been an absolute ball for me. I know we congratulated them already, but please, one more hand for all of the section coaches that helped. And I'd like to give special recognition for my own personal whippersnapper, Laura Goucher, who carries an invisible whip, which I felt around my neck many times as we had to go to the next event. But you need a person like Laura. If I had tons more money, because she's worth way more than that, I would bring her to UW Eau Claire and say, do that some more to me there permanently. So let's give recognition to Laura. Please stand up, Laura. We're going to bring Felix back on this next number, and this is a wonderful number. What we don't know about this number that you might not know is that it was huge in history, in the fact that before this number, and the Jimmy Lunciford Band, who first performed it and made it famous, jazz was more of a rigid 4. Gong, 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 like Dixieland music. But Jimmy Lunciford was one of the first bands that started to put the beat on 2 and 4. 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2. And made it much more legato and made the swing very heavy. We're going to try to illustrate that for you right now, and it's going to start out with a great solo by Brady. And Felix is going to sing in the middle, and I think that's it. Everybody, ladies and gentlemen, this is a clapper. So as soon as, especially when you get halfway through, clap along on it. This is our last number, too, so you're allowed to do that. This is Taint What You Do.
It's the place that you do it. the way that you do it. That's what makes me
Good evening. My name is Chad Garles. I'm the choir director at Mahtomedi High School. We want to first recognize all of the Metro East choir directors that are present tonight. If you are a Metro East choir director, could you please rise and be acknowledged? We want to thank them for all the time they've spent helping these students be prepared for this day, helping with sectionals, doing everything they can to help this event be a huge success. So thank you to them. We have SCC TV, our local cable company, is here tonight. We were going to live stream the event, but because of the frigid temperatures, they couldn't bring the truck and the cords through the doors tonight. So there will be a schedule that will be coming to Ms. Goucher and myself that we will share with the other directors in the conference, and they will share when that will be televised. I think they will also have a YouTube recording that we might be able to share as well, so you get to see this event, or others can see it if they're not here tonight. Our clinician this evening is Stephanie Trump. Stephanie has done so much for the choral music tradition that is rich here in Minnesota. You can read all of her accolades in here, but she's the choir director at Robbinsdale Armstrong High School. She is a choir director at University of Northwestern here in St. Paul. And she is the current president of our state choir directors association. And she has brought a rich variety of choral music that she has shared with these students over the past week, and I think you will enjoy as well. So Stephanie Trump and the Metro East Choir, Conference Choir.
now that they're mostly settled, I will say a few words. My name is Kevin Robinson. I'm the director of bands at Simley High School, Simley, in Inver Grove Heights, not Old Sibley, as a lot of people get mistaken for. Just making sure. We would like to thank any administration or activity directors for helping put this on and supporting this 2-day special event for us. So if we have any administration or activity directors in the house tonight, can we please stand and get some acknowledgement? So I was trying to think back to when I first met Catherine, and I was just a baby teacher. It was my second year of teaching in St. Cloud, and it was an honor band. And we did an honor band a couple of years together in St. Cloud, and I know that she still does some of those things. Dr. Bushman has an extensive history, as you can see, teaching in the state and also around our country in some pretty major programs. Dr. Bushman is currently the professor of music at St. Cloud State and is an active guest conductor and presenter at conventions, including this year was just a presenter at the Midwest International Band and Orchestra Conference, which about 18,000 band directors and orchestra directors around the world come to. So that's pretty special. So let's welcome the Metro East Concert Band under the direction of Dr. Catherine Bushman.
Thank you. I'm going to delay the first note of music. Since these students have been sitting here, I'm going to give them a second to just play on their instrument, and then we're going to tune, and then we're going to play the first song. So just give us a moment. Go ahead and play some warm-up sounds on your instruments. Thank you. I turned and looked at the band and I said, that was good. It's really amazing what we are able to do. And to all the teachers in the room, is that my profession is dependent on the abilities and whims of adolescents. And they are wonderful people when they play just like that, and then you just never know. I don't know if you live with some of these folks. But when they come home, you thought you had a good day, you ask a nice question, and then you just get shut down, you know? So we're here to tell you that the many hours of rehearsal that we had for this festival went very well. It's the kind of learning where it doesn't always feel good while you're doing it. Yes, it's a lot of time. Yes, you could be doing other things. But hopefully they take a glimmer from this time away that they're like, yeah, that was it. And there's a high associated with that that keeps us coming back to music. It's wonderful to be a part of this wonderful concert. So many different kinds of music. I could have gone home after the choir. I was just like, wow, that was just stunning, really stunning music. And so we're gonna keep going with our program. This next piece is called Nostalgia in the Air, written pretty recently, 2021, by Kalijah Dutton. Kalijah is a kind of non-traditional band composer. He lives in New York City, has just started writing for bands, and he just put a really simple description on this piece. He said, this is music that is trying to remind us of better times. So I hope that you enjoy Nostalgia in the Air. now. Yep, here we go. Yeah, there is so much percussion back there, you wouldn't believe. I mean, it is, whoever ordered this music wasn't really thinking ahead. Oh, that was me, okay. You like the jokes, okay, good. It's my side job, making teenage parents laugh. There's so many tears. Okay, so, I do. Usually I give this speech to middle school parents and I say, don't let your students quit music. Don't let them quit band, don't let them quit choir. I've never met somebody who said, I was so glad I quit my instrument. We always met people who were like, oh, I wish I'd kept playing. I wish I'd kept doing it. And so for you, the high school parents, way to go. You got them here. We just, hope to help them as they leave the nest. This next set of tunes is 3 tunes that were set for band by a Colombian composer, Victoriano Valencia. And it's kind of just catching on in terms of this piece being distributed. And there's actually, for the directors in the room, it's a set of 10 tunes. And they draw from Colombia, all across South America, Cuba, and just like a blend of styles. And they're kind of short, you can kind of mix them up. And so it gives us a chance to talk about music in South America and the Caribbean, not only what the music is, which in all of these cases is defined by rhythm. So I'll kind of talk through each of these movements. I won't do them back to back also because percussion, but so I'll kind of interrupt each one. But they're defined by rhythm, they're defined by very specific instruments, and they all sort of have a dance feel to them, a very specific dance. So, so this first tune is called Raspa, and it's a cumbia being a Mexican dance. This music would have been heard outside at a outdoor festival, and where the town band is kind of playing, and everybody's sort of listening. I did not prompt this student, but I think Caroline is playing the guira, and this instrument, this is like a North American version. Like if you go on YouTube, like the actual cumbia is like a really big kind of canister, and you play it with a really big rake, and you get really tired when you play it. But based on my research, which is on YouTube, there are many musicians who are very proud of their ability to play this instrument, kind of talk you through it. So I'll have Caroline just kind of demonstrate this 1 and a 2 and a rhythm. Yeah, so you hear that rake, and that kind of just defines it, and we're actually going to go a little slower than that, but that's the sound. So I'll kind of pause in between again for percussion and to kind of tell you what the next tune is. But here's Raspa. Thank you. And those solos were by Adrian in the saxophone section. Would you please stand? And then Tucker and, I'm going to mess up. Is it Tucker and Calvin in the trumpet section? Yeah, would you all stand for the solos? Thank you. Okay, so this next one is the danzón, and it's a Cuban dance, and again, as I've described, not as, if you are from Cuba and I say this wrong, please correct me, but this is more like a ballroom dance style, and I'm gonna have William, I didn't prompt William either, to play the claves, and we just sort of call this the clave rhythm because it's just so kind of omnipresent, so you'll hear the clave rhythm right now, and then we'll put it into the piece. Let's give a hand for that. Okay, and then that leads us to the last tune in our set, which is the Shande. Okay, got it. So Shande is drawing on music from the Caribbean coast of Colombia, and the festival's held in Barranquilla, which is the town, and so you hear sort of these dance rhythms, but also singing. And the people who sing are the people who are there. Yes, very good. And so we have 2 students who volunteered to lead you in singing. It's not necessary to know what words we're saying. I'm not going to go through like a little rehearsal and stuff like that, but it just make a bunch of L sound, lo, 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 re, and then just kind of sing out, and then the song will come to a wonderful finish. So this is the last of the set, and then we have one more piece after.
Lay low, lay row, lay row. Lay row, lay row, lay row, lay row, lay row. Lay row, lay la. Lay row, lay la. Ba 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 bow. Ba 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 bow. Hey! Hey! Jew! Jew! Cuepa! Cuepa! Un grito!
Before they do their last piece, I want to thank you all again for being here tonight and celebrating just wonderful music making with us. Let's give it up for every student that has performed tonight. I also want to acknowledge our overly mature percussionists in the back. If you might have noticed two that maybe look a little more mature than the others. I'm going to use that word choice. We unfortunately had two student percussionists that were sick today, and you kind of have to have all your percussionists. They all have different parts. So our thanks to Mr. Jacobson and Mr. Connolly for filling in back there. Oh, yep, he's on right. And then we have a really special guest on this next song. One of the percussionists who had a piano part, and I knew right who to go to. First of all, I want to thank my incredible hosts here at St. Andrews today. Bill Chenard is the king of St. Andrews. Yes. He is the organist here, and he's an incredible host and gets us whatever we need throughout the day. And also, I don't know if Sue Gilsdorf is still here, but has been an incredible host all day. And so when I realized we didn't have our piano player, I went right to my friend Bill Chenard and said, hey, could you play the Can song? And he was more than thrilled. So thank you, Bill, for playing with us this evening as well. Just a heads up that after the concert, all of the students have important jobs to do. It takes a very large village to get all of this here and then to get it all back. So they feel free, if you want to help out, we're happy to have you, but just know that all the students have a job to do, and hopefully students know what those are. Make sure you talk to your band and choir directors about that. And I want to thank again our three incredible clinicians, Bob Baca, Stephanie Trump, and Dr. Catherine Bushman.
We've already said a lot of thank yous, so I'm not going to repeat. But again, it's been a pleasure to be here, to be back at this conference. A lot of just really great things are going on here. And students who are playing well tonight, that is why we do the work. All right? That is why they're not for the days when we sound bad and nobody's in band and nobody wants to practice. It's for this night tonight. So let's give all the students one more hand. So I'm just going to say a little bit about this piece because I've been dying to talk about it. It's called the Toucan Can. And all I can say is that Erica Savano, she actually lives in Wisconsin, but she works here in Minnesota. She's a friend of all of ours. She's just writing really fun, creative music. She often draws on sort of like odd historical periods, I think, that are sort of unusual and why I love following her music. And I think she's probably been a clinician for this conference before. So this is a recent piece that she's written, and maybe more than the students on stage, the grown-ups in the house will remember the Saturday morning cartoons that we grew up with. And so Erica drew on the music from Fantasia, right? And the French dance that's by Jacques Offenbach that we all know as the can-can. I know the can-can as like number 86 in my clarinet method book, but apparently it's a French dance. And being neither French or a dancer. But so she starts with that, and so she had this idea of the ostriches and the hippos and all the animals that are in Fantasia, and then she just kept going. And so there's a little bit of Stravinsky, there's a little bit of music from the Firebird, which is also in Fantasia, and a couple other things. So I would say it's like a modern twist on like that good old instant concert. You guys remember band directors, but kind of in a funny way. So not quite sure how it's going to go. I think they're going to play it great, but just in case you're not sure, there's just a lot of music going on, and we're trying to have fun. So again, thank you, and I hope you enjoyed Toot Toot, Toucan, Can.